Hello, and welcome to this video about Creative Australia's new Creative Leadership Program. My name is Adelaide, and I'm the Manager of Leadership Development Programs here at Creative Australia. I am recording this video on the lands of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. I pay my respects to the elders of this country and extend my deep thanks for the ongoing care of this country where I live and work. This was and always will be Aboriginal land. At Creative Australia, we acknowledge the many traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and honour their elders past and present. We respect their deep, enduring connection to their lands, waterways, and surrounding clan groups since time immemorial. We cherish the richness of First Nations peoples' artistic and cultural expressions. I'd like to start by giving some instructions on options for accessing this video. In this video, you can turn captions on and off using the button that has the letters CC on it in the bottom right-hand corner of this video. Underneath this video, you can also select View Transcript, and a transcript of the conversation will pop up on the side of the screen. We are also joined today by an Auslan interpreter, Yasmin Dendachi. If you would like this video in another format, please contact us via the contact details on the Creative Australia website. As I mentioned before, I'm Adelaide. I'm the Manager of Leadership Development Programs here at Creative Australia, and I use she, her pronouns. I'd also like to introduce my colleagues, starting off with Adam.
Hi, my name is Adam McGowan, and I'm the Director of Industry Development, and I use he, him pronouns.
Thanks, Adam. And I'd also like to introduce my colleague, Emerald.
Hi, I'm Emerald. I'm the Senior Project Officer in the Industry Development team, and I use she, her pronouns.
Thanks, team. So I'll introduce Creative Australia very quickly now. Creative Australia is the Australian government's principal arts investment and advisory body. And that means we invest in artists, in creative workers, in organisations, and we stimulate markets for Australian stories nationally and internationally. At Creative Australia, we know that arts and culture defines us, connects us, and benefits us all. So this video is about the new Creative Leadership Program, and in this video, we will explain what the program is. We'll talk a bit about what we mean by leadership. We'll introduce you to the leadership themes for the program. We'll talk about who the program is for and what your experience of the program might be like, and we'll explain the support that's available to apply and participate in the program. In this video, I will refer quite a few times to the opportunity page on the Creative Australia website. This is where you can find detailed information about the program. There is a link to this page below this video, or you can also go to the Creative Australia website, creative.gov.au, click on Investment and Development, and choose the Leadership Programs page. There is a link to that page, on that page, to the Creative Leadership Program opportunity page. And there you'll be able to find our email address and a link to book in for a chat with myself or my lovely colleague Emerald. And you can also find these details in the description of this video. Now I'll hand over to Adam to tell you a bit more about the program.
Thanks, Adelaide. Creative Australia invests in leadership development as we know the power of arts and culture to create and tell important and positive stories about positive change. We recognise those called to embody leadership in all areas of the arts and cultural sector, seek to build sustainable and enduring networks, to develop knowledge, skills, and capabilities to enhance their professional practice, and create impact, individually and collectively, in the spaces they work. Through our investment in leadership development, we support artists and arts workers to deepen their leadership practice through long-term integrated learning and development with a cohort of inspiring peers. The new Creative Leadership Program builds on our investment in more than 200 arts and cultural workers from across Australia since 2016. We are committed through this program to supporting leadership in our sector that is reflective of contemporary Australia. Leadership can mean different things to different people. In this program, we want to explore lots of ways to understand leadership and how it is done. For us, leadership is not a role or a job. It is something you do, an action. When you practice leadership, you're creating change, sometimes in smaller, quiet ways, and sometimes in big, dynamic, and public ways. We know that sometimes artists and creative workers might not think of what they do as leadership. So we've asked some of our leadership program alumni to tell you what they think leadership looks like in the arts and cultural sector.
Kayala. Nadiyanya Katina Olsen. My name is Katina Olsen and I'm a Waka Waka Kumbameri choreographer based on Gubbi Gubbi country on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. To me, leadership means dreaming new pathways, methodologies, and structures that better complement and support our social and creative futures. It is reimagining the how we make, research, create, develop, and relate to the people we work with and make art for. Leadership is understanding your history. It is learning from those that have come before us to consider the present so that we can influence and lead toward a brighter future.
Hi, my name is Mariam Ella Ursilia. I'm recording this video on Gadigal land, where I live and work. I'm an arts and culture manager working across community engagement, creative producing, communications, writing, and editing. And I'm an alumni of the Creative Australia's leadership program. What does leadership mean to me? Well, I view leadership as an opportunity and a privilege to use your platform to either bring a vision to life, to translate a culture, to bring sector impact, or to continue or expand a legacy. And what that looks like varies depending on whether you're leading an organization, steering a board, driving a program, or managing staff. But the uniting factor in all of this is that good leaders ensure that they bring people on the journey with them and they foster an environment of continuous learning, emotional safety, and mutual trust. Sometimes it's about navigating challenging situations or adapting to change because leadership is about future casting while also staying in the present. For me, leadership is about using your position to create vessels of opportunities to empower people to pursue pathways that enable them to grow. Leadership to me is having a healthy ego so that you can recognize who first built the door that enabled you to walk through and to keep that door propped wide open as you walk through it so that others can pass through as well.
Hello, my name is Morwenna Collett and I'm a proud disabled woman based on Gadigal country. I'm an arts consultant specialising in diversity, equity, access and inclusion, and I work with arts and culture organisations across the country to help make all of our diversity work better. I'm also an alumni of Creative Australia's leadership programs. For me, leadership is having a vision and energising others to achieve that vision together by bringing them along with you. It's about imagining a better world and taking steps to get there. It's about deep listening, considering different perspectives, and it's also about taking action. The leaders that I most admire in our sector are people who are inclusive, bold, collaborative, and just all-round good human beings. Good leaders have courage and integrity, and they're not afraid to do things differently.
Thanks to our wonderful alumni, Katina, Mariam, and Morwenna, for sharing their reflections on leadership with us. Now we'll tell you a bit more about the program itself. The Creative Leadership Program is a new professional development opportunity, and it's supporting 35 artists and cultural workers with at least 5 years professional experience. Some of you watching this video might be familiar with the Arts Leaders and the Future Leaders program. This new Creative Leadership Program replaces those two programs. The Creative Leadership Program runs from July 2024 to December 2025, and it brings diverse forms of arts and cultural leadership together to create transformative change in our complex world. If selected, you will receive a $7,000 grant for self-directed professional development. You will also participate in 2 in-person multi-day workshops in a regional location. There'll be 12 digital peer-to-peer coaching sessions, 3 online keynote conversations, and an option to attend a networking event in person in your region. You will focus your exploration of leadership practice through one of 3 leadership themes: inspiring climate action, transforming how we work, and creating shared value. I'll let Adelaide talk more about these themes later in the video. Back to you, Adelaide.
Thanks, Adam. So now I'm going to share a little bit more detailed information about the program. So the first thing we're going to talk about is who is eligible for the program. So there are a couple of different criteria for eligibility, and this means that you're able to apply for the program. So you need to be an individual. We can't accept applications from groups or organizations. And you need to be an artist or a creative worker. We have a very broad definition of what an artist or creative worker is. And it mostly means that you have some type of artistic or creative practice, or you work with artists or creative practitioners, and that you're recognized by your peers, by people working in the industry, as someone who does this work. If you're not sure if you meet the definition of artist or creative worker, you can contact us and we can give you some guidance. You also need to be an Australian citizen or an Australian permanent resident. You need to have 5 years of experience in the arts and cultural sector. Again, this is really broadly defined. You don't need to have experience working full-time in an arts organisation. You can have worked part-time. You don't even need to be working in an organisation. You can be a freelancer. You can be an independent practitioner. You just need to have been working on your practice or working on your cultural work for at least 5 years. And you can contact us if you're not sure. And you need to be working in the art forms that we fund. So these art forms are First Nations arts and culture, community arts and cultural development, emerging and experimental arts, multi-arts, music, dance, theatre, visual arts, and literature. You might be working primarily in these areas, but also sometimes cross over into fashion, film, gaming, or you might be working as an academic in a university. You can't be working primarily in the fields of fashion, film, or gaming, but if you, for example, are a musician and you make music for games, then you would be eligible for this program. And finally, to be eligible, you need to be available for all of the key dates in this program. You can find a list of the key dates on our opportunity page under the dates heading. The most important dates to look out for are the in-person workshops and the keynote conversations, as these dates are set and they're not going to move. For some of the activities like the peer-to-peer coaching sessions and the online working groups, you will be in small groups with other participants in the program, and you will be able to choose a date and a time in the week that works for everyone to meet. You just need to make sure that you're available in the specific date ranges that are listed in the dates section of the opportunity page. And finally, there are some things that make you ineligible to apply for this program, so please double check those on the opportunity page before you apply. For this program, we will also be prioritising applications from First Nations and deaf and disabled artists and creative workers. And this is part of our commitment to diversifying leadership and supporting diverse leaders to thrive. We provide customised access and inclusion support for First Nations, deaf and disabled participants in our programs. We also continue to really strongly encourage applications from culturally and linguistically diverse people, people who identify as LGBTQIA+, people who are based in regional and remote areas, as well as younger people, so if you're under 25, and older people. We also acknowledge that identity is intersectional, and we encourage people at the intersection of these identities to apply for the program. So we've told you a bit about who you need to be, but you might be curious who else is going to be in the program. Well, we will have 35 participants in this program for the 2024-25 year. These participants will have lots of different experience. They'll be from different career stages. They'll be working in different types of arts practice. They'll be from across Australia. Some people will live in metropolitan areas and cities. Some people will be from regional and remote areas. We welcome all identities into the program. We'll have some artists who are creating change through their arts practice or in their communities. And we'll have some creative workers who are working to support artists, people like curators, editors, and artist managers. In the program, you'll spend time together as a large group all together with all 35 of us, and sometimes you'll spend time together in smaller groups. We will also be joined by a program facilitator who will guide the overall program, who has extensive knowledge of leadership development and will be experienced in creating a safe, inclusive, and creative space for everyone to learn in. You will meet this program facilitator at our online induction at the start of the program, and they will be present throughout the program. We will also welcome guest speakers and workshop leaders from all sorts of backgrounds and experiences, including First Nations elders and artists and cultural leaders, deaf and disabled leaders, artists and arts workers making change in their communities, as well as people working outside of the arts who have something to share about their insights and perspectives that is relevant to people working in arts and culture. So that's who you're going to be connecting with in the program, but what are you going to be doing in the program? Well, you're going to be exploring your leadership practices and the skills and experiences that you need to make change. You'll also be exploring the leadership themes that Adam mentioned before. So we have chosen these 3 themes as they are important areas where we see the need for leadership in the sector and where artists and creative workers are telling us that they want support to be able to make change. These themes are quite broad, and so we'll develop them more fully in collaboration with you and with the program facilitator throughout the program. The themes will influence some of the learning and the development that you do in the program, so you should feel inspired by the theme that you choose and committed to making change in the area of that theme. You don't need to have a lot of experience in your chosen theme, and you can think of the themes really broadly. They purposefully capture a really wide variety of topics and ideas. As a reminder, the 3 themes are inspiring climate action, new ways of working, and creating shared value. There is a longer description of each of those themes on the opportunity page. And if you're not sure which theme to choose, you're very welcome to contact us so we can have a chat with you about what that theme is and what you're interested in and help you to choose a theme that would be the most appropriate for you. So the themes will inform the different activities that you do in the program. And so I'm going to talk a bit more about some of those activities now. These activities that we do in the program will be both in person and online. Some of them are self-directed, where you choose what you want to do, and some of them are more facilitated by the program facilitator or by people who will lead workshops as part of the program. So the first activity is the grant that you have, the $7,000 grant. You can spend this at any time throughout the program, and we will ask you to spend some of your grant on getting a mentor or a coach so that you can set some really clear goals and get some really personalized support. You will be able to choose your own mentor. And then you will spend the rest of your grant on training and development activities that help you to meet your goals, that help you to explore the leadership themes and help you to practice leadership. We can provide suggestions for these activities. It's really important that you're aware you'll need an ABN to receive your grant, or you'll need to nominate an administrator. This is someone who accepts the grant on your behalf. There is more information about this on the opportunity page under how to apply. The other important thing to know is you don't need to give us a proposal for how you will spend this grant. We will work with you once the program starts to decide how you spend the grant. So the next activity is the 2 in-person workshops. These happen at the start of the program and at the end of the program, and they'll be in person in a regional location in Australia. We choose a regional location so we can get away from big cities and spend some really quality time together and have some good space for reflection. So at these workshops, we'll connect together as a whole group, so all 35 of us. We'll explore diverse leadership practices as well as other topics relevant to leadership like wellbeing and as well as the leadership themes. There is another optional in-person activity. This is the Leadership Networking event that will happen at the start of 2025. This is optional, so you don't need to be available for this event to be eligible for the program. We will have 4 of these events that will happen across the country, and you'll go to the one that is closest to you if you would like to attend. And it's going to be a great opportunity to meet other program alumni, so people who have done these programs before, and connect with other special guests to talk about leadership. So then we have a range of online activities that will be part of the program, and these will take place on digital platforms like Zoom and other platforms that we'll introduce you to throughout the program. And we'll work with you to make sure that these platforms are accessible to you. For the online activities, we will have lots of breaks. We'll make sure there's plenty of downtime and lots of different ways to connect in a big group, in smaller groups. So it's really dynamic and interesting to be in those spaces together. So for the keynote conversations, for example, you'll hear from diverse and inspiring speakers. We'll be together in a large group and there'll be lots of breaks. At the peer-to-peer coaching sessions, for example, you'll be in smaller groups. The peer-to-peer coaching sessions will happen over 2 blocks. You'll have one in September, October 2024, and then one in March and April 2025. And there are 6 sessions in each block. In these sessions, you work with a facilitator to share your own knowledge and perspectives on topics related to leadership. And we'll put you in groups for these peer-to-peer coaching sessions with people that we feel like you're going to be able to respectfully and meaningfully connect with. The other online activity is some online preparation sessions ahead of the final workshop in person. So these sessions you'll move into groups that are connected to your leadership themes that you've chosen, and you'll explore key issues and topics in that area with some guest speakers. And this will mean that you're ready to connect in person at the final workshop and develop some actionable plans for change in your work or practice and in your communities. We'll also have a chance at the final workshop for reconnection with the whole group and sharing about your journey. And then you will graduate from the program. After you graduate, we will ask you to provide a short report for us, including a description of how you spent your $7,000 grant. There is more information about all the activities in the program and the dates for these activities on the opportunity page on the website, so I really encourage you to check those out. You can also view an illustrated guide to the program that we have created in collaboration with an artist so that you can have a different way of understanding what the program experience might be like. So speaking of the program experience, I've explained a bit about the activities, and now I'd like to share a little bit about what your actual experience of the program will be. So the first thing is that the program is grounded in respect for First Nations peoples and knowledge systems. And so we spend time in the program connecting with elders on country during our in-person workshops, as well as connecting with First Nations artists and cultural leaders throughout all the other program activities. You will also learn with and from a range of generous and inspiring speakers and guests and workshop leaders from inside and outside the arts and cultural sector. Some of our past guests include speakers like Caroline Bowditch, Wesley Enoch, and Veronica Pardo. And we try to choose speakers and guests that come from all sorts of different experiences and identities. This program also acknowledges and values your own expertise. And so you will spend time with each other, exploring perspectives, sparking ideas, sharing meals, doing creative activities like weaving, and creating lasting networks and friendships. We have also consciously designed this program to prioritize well-being access, and cultural safety. So we will work with the program facilitator and with all of the participants to create shared agreements about how we care for well-being and strive towards culturally safe environments for everybody to learn in. We will revisit and extend these agreements and practices as we go through the program. So as you might think, the program is flexible and adaptable, and it's designed to enable you to self-direct your learning and development while also connecting and exchanging with a diverse group of artists and creative workers from all over Australia. We aim to accommodate lots of different learning styles with the in-person and the online activities, with some of the larger group activities, and with some of the smaller peer-to-peer coaching sessions. We also try to make sure that there are other ways of learning through experience, so applying the learnings that you have in the program in your day-to-day life, as well as being able to access practical training through the way you spend your grant. We've tried to make sure that there's time across the 18 months for you to have opportunity for reflection, for processing what you're learning, for putting your learning into action, for experimenting and evaluating what's happening for you in the program and how that's impacting your day-to-day work. So this program is about your own professional development and also about developing your capacity to practice leadership and make change in your practice and communities. So we've told you a bit about what the activities are and what the experience will be like. What do you get out of it at the end? Where will you end up? Well, alumni of our programs tell us that they get a really clear sense of their values that inform their leadership practice, the skills that they have, and maybe also the skills they need to keep developing, the role that they have in their practice or their organization or their community, and the opportunities that they have as someone who's wanting to practice leadership. They also get a really strong and supportive network of other artists and creative workers who are practicing leadership across Australia, who they can call on for advice and support and sometimes collaborate with on projects and other activities. In this program, you'll also come out of it with actionable plans for change in your chosen thematic area and more broadly in your leadership practice. So it's not just about developing skills, it's also about thinking, how am I going to put those into practice? So you'll come out of the program with some of those really clear plans. And you'll also experience transformative perspectives from First Nations elders and respected artists and cultural leaders and facilitators. And these perspectives will unfold in your practice over the coming years. People talk about the impact of the participation in the program really lasting quite a long time. But we've also asked some of our alumni to tell you a bit more about what they got out of investing in your leadership development, and we'll hear from them now.
How has Creative Australia's leadership program impacted my practice? Well, it's given me the ability to explore evolving models of leadership and how this is integrated into my work. So things like shared leadership or co-leadership, knowledge sharing with colleagues and industry peers within and outside the art sector, paying attention to who isn't in the room and calling people in, maintaining healthy work boundaries, creating hybrid roles that enable me to experiment and circulate skills with other people. Another thing that I valued about the program was the emphasis placed on country listening and decentralized learning and the multimodal ways of how to communicate and preserve your practice. I was also thankful to be able to use this time in the program to pursue my passion for digital accessibility and ethical labor processes. So the conversations and resources provided by the facilitators and the cohort enabled me to develop digital strategies, cultural safety toolkits, fair pay contracts, and ethical processes to help make it easier for artists to create, present, and archive work online and in physical spaces, and to also make sure that fellow arts workers are recognized for the labor that they do, which is often invisible in the sector. So being in the Creative Leadership Program for me is like belonging to a growing club of luminaries who have carved out fascinating and enterprising and sometimes non-conventional pathways to leadership. And I'm grateful to be part of an ongoing conversation to be better servicing the arts and culture sector through the work that I do. So thank you for having me in this program.
Being involved in Creative Australia's leadership programs has shaped the work I do and who I am today. The connections and networks I built through the program were invaluable, and as a freelancer, I've been lucky enough to work with about half the members of my cohort since. Participating in the program made me carve out time and space for reflection to really get to the core of what it is that I want to achieve professionally, and it also gave me the confidence to go out there and do it.
This leadership program has really expanded my capacity for imagining and reaching beyond what I thought was possible in terms of leadership. It affirmed some thinkings and ideas and also gave me new questions that I'm currently embedding into my practice. The program also expanded and strengthened my networks outside of what was possible through my current work and projects. Getting to know the cohort through all of the online and in-person residentials, I think, is the real highlight of this program. I really left the program with a notebook full of ideas and a heart excited and motivated to put them all into action.
And thank you to Katina, Mariam and Morwenna for sharing their reflections about what they got out of their investment in leadership development. So now I've told you a lot about the program itself. Let's talk about some of the practical details. There is no program fee to participate in this program, so you don't need to pay anything. If you are able, we will ask you to cover the cost of travel to the in-person activities in the program and to arrange that travel yourself. However, we do know that travel from regional and remote locations can be expensive, and we know that the costs of travel can be a real barrier to participating in in-person programs. If you need support for the costs of travel, we will provide that support to you, and we would really love to provide that support to you so that you are able to access the program. We will ask you if you want that support in the application form, and it will not affect how competitive you are for this program. So asking for support won't mean that you're less likely to get a place in the program. We are also able to provide other support to enable you to participate in this program and to get the most out of it. And we try to take a really person-centered approach so that the support available is the support that you actually need. So if you have access needs, we will work with you to create a personalised access plan to support your access to the program activities and opportunities. This can include services like Auslan or captioning. It can also include support for your carer or support person to attend the in-person activities or be with you for the online activities. It might include paying for accommodation and travel for your support worker as well, for example. We can also provide support for childcare, for cultural practices, for internet and digital access, and any learning access needs that you have. For example, if you need frequent screen breaks, we will accommodate that. If you would benefit from seeing a transcript of one of the conversations we have during the keynote sessions, we can provide that. Or if you need to take time out of one of the in-person workshops if you need to take time out of the in-person workshops for a daily prayer, we will find a space for you to be able to do that privately and comfortably. If you are a parent or carer, we can also discuss support to enable you to attend the program, such as childcare or enabling your family to attend with you so that you can have appropriate accommodation and travel support for your family to be there with you. The other important bit of support that we can provide for you is the support payment. So this payment is $2,000 and it's designed to support people who are unwaged, underemployed, or on a low income to have more equitable participation in the program. This might include artists who are independent or freelance. It might include deaf or disabled artists and creative practitioners. It could be lots of different types of people, and really it's designed to support you to be able to participate in this program if you would otherwise need to take time off work or if you're on a low income. We will pay this to you in 2 installments, and if that would be difficult for you because you're receiving any other benefits that are affected by other income that you get, we can talk with you about what's the best way for you to receive this payment. We will ask you to request this payment in your application form. And again, it's not going to affect how competitive you are or how likely you are to be accepted into the program. So speaking of applications, the applications for this program are open now and close on the 9th of April 2024 at 3 p.m. AEST. So please be aware of this if you are living in a different time zone. So if you are not based in Sydney in Australian Eastern Standard Time, then please make sure you double check what the equivalent time is in your time zone. When you apply, you need to make sure that you've reviewed the eligibility criteria that we talked about before and check that you're available for the dates of the program. As soon as you're interested in applying for this program, we recommend that you log on to Flux, which is our application management system, and create an account if you don't have one already. It can take up to 2 business days for your registration on Flux to be accepted, so it's important to give yourself lots of time to sort out that registration. Once you're registered, you can find the Creative Leadership Program opportunity and have a look at the form so you can get an idea of what we will ask you to write in that form. There are a couple of short, quick answer questions. So we'll ask you what career stage you're at and what art form you work in. We will also ask you to provide your, let us know if you want an administrator to accept the grant on your behalf. And if you've got questions about that, again, you can please contact us so that we can give you some guidance. In the application form, we will also ask you if you want to request the support payment or any assistance with travel costs. There are then 5 questions where we ask you about you and your leadership practices and your motivations. Each question has some prompts underneath it, some useful guidance to give you some clues about how you can answer each of the questions. So please make sure you take a look at those. The first question that we ask you, which is introduce yourself and how you practice leadership, can be answered as a video. And we really encourage you to use a video response for this question because it will help us to get to know you a bit better. If you do create a video, you can attach it in the support material section of the form. The other support material that we ask you to provide is a CV of up to 2 pages. And the CV is where you can tell us more about what you've done, your career, exhibitions or performances that you've been part of, your work, your education, and your achievements. If you need assistance with this form, or if you want to submit your responses in another format, please contact us. We are really open to helping you to submit your application in a way that works for you. So this might be recording a video for all of the questions, or it might be submitting an audio file where you talk about what your answers to the questions are. Or we might be able to arrange someone to write for you as you speak so that you can have some assistance to get the words down on the page. We also accept videos in Auslan and we'll work with you to find your preferred interpreter to interpret that video for the assessment panel. For any of these options, please contact us as soon as you can. We're really happy to work with you to make this application process as accessible as it can be. We also encourage you to ask the people around you for help writing and reviewing your application, particularly people who know you and your practice well. So after you've submitted your application form, we will assess it. We'll ask some staff from Creative Australia, as well as some experienced artists and creative workers from the industry to read all of the applications and score them based on how well they meet the selection criteria. We'll then create a shortlist and our facilitator will read the applications and then all together we'll make a decision about the final group of 35 people that will be part of the program. When you're writing your responses in the application form, make sure you pay attention to the selection criteria. These are the things that the assessors will look at to decide whether or not you should be part of the program. Those assessment criteria are listed on the opportunity page under the assessment heading, and the criteria are timeliness and relevance of the program to the applicant's leadership development. So you're the applicant, so it's about whether or not this program is right for you now, and if the program itself and the activities that it offers are the things that you need to develop your leadership practice. The second criteria is motivated and respectful approach to personal and collaborative learning. So this is about understanding if you are able to participate in this program in a way which is going to really benefit you, and that you're motivated and committed to doing the learning that this program offers you, and that you're also going to be able to do that with everybody else in the program in a really respectful and collaborative way. And the third criteria is commitment to creating positive change in the Australian arts and cultural sector. This doesn't necessarily need to mean the whole sector. It means in some part of the sector that you are committed to creating positive change. So if you need any help with understanding the program or with understanding how you can apply for the program, you can contact myself or Emerald at any time before the 9th of April to chat about the program. We can help you to understand any aspect of the program and the activities, including the leadership themes and the application process. We can't read any draft applications for you or give you really specific detailed advice on your specific application, but we can talk to you generally about what you do and what your leadership practices look like, and help you understand if the program might be right for you. If you're not sure or you've never done a program like this before, we really encourage you to get in touch with us to please have a conversation. We'd love to get to know you and learn a bit more about your work and practice and see if this program is the right thing for you now. If we can't help you in the way that you need, we might refer you to another organisation that can provide you with some additional support. We also encourage you to look at the resources on the opportunity page. There is a video introduction to this program in Auslan. There's also an illustrated guide to the program that I mentioned before, and this is like a cartoon that shows you the journey that you'll take through the program. We also have an easy English guide for the program that you can download in PDF and Word formats. We also have some question and answer sessions coming up where you can answer questions live. You can do so anonymously, and we will answer them so that everybody can have the benefit of those answers. We also have some online information sessions coming up for deaf and disabled artists and creative workers, and for First Nations artists and creative workers. Please see the opportunity page for dates and to register for these sessions. So we've come to the end of this introduction video. Please reach out via the email address on the opportunity page, or you can also find a link on the opportunity page to book a time to chat with myself or Emerald, who you met at the start of this video. We're really looking forward to meeting you, to chatting with you and learning more about how you practice leadership and why you're ready for the program, and of course, reading your applications. Thanks, everyone.